Hi, welcome back to Tova Talks, episode 4. So we're here today, and I'm gonna ask you guys a few questions, kind of moving forward from last week's questions that I asked you, a bit more about Tova, a bit more about, I guess, the nitty-gritty aspects of Tova, and yeah, what made you make certain decisions based on what Tova incorporates. So,
Sounds good.
gonna get right into it. Okay, so this actually, I have a question for Athena.
Hi.
What is the best way to approach someone, regardless Tova event or in general? How would you?
Okay, I love this question. I personally think the best and easiest way to break the ice and start any conversation with anyone without things getting so personal so fast is to use free information.
Yeah.
Free information meaning anything in your surrounding that you can use to spark a conversation. So things like, usually when you're at an event, there's drinks, sometimes food involved.
Music.
Music. The weather is always around, right? Let's just take, for example, our previous Brew and Beats event.
Yeah.
You know, there's drinks, food, it was raining,
Right.
and impeccable music. Shout out to our DJs. If I was walking to Brew and Beats and I didn't know anyone, I could bond over any of those 4 things.
So like, what kind of stuff would you bond over? Like, what would you go up to them with?
Well, I personally hate the rain. So I would be like,
Bring up the rain.
yeah, and I think most people hate the rain.
But easier one for me would be, oh, what's the drink you have?
Yeah, just like,
That's
yeah.
What'd you get? Is that
Easy,
good?
yeah. Is it good? Do you like it?
Yeah.
Anything you recommend? Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because you're all situated in the same venue, event.
Yeah.
So there's already that level of relatability
Right.
there.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then you can ask them more personal questions once the conversation starts rolling.
I think a pretty natural thing that people will ask at Tova, at least at Tova events, is like, oh,
How'd you hear about Tova? That's a very, 100%.
Do you know someone?
Yeah.
How many events you've been to? Very common questions that people ask.
Very
and
easy, yeah.
and that's fine. It's good.
Yeah,
It's just
100%,
icebreaking, right? And
definitely.
it's pretty organic. It feels
Yeah.
natural, and it's just we've seen that happen quite a few times, which is it's cool.
Yeah. Just always try to find something that you can relate to someone to.
Pranay, what's been the weirdest way someone's approached you?
At one point, someone, I'm not going to say too much about this, but it was first year of university orientation. Some girl walked up and she pulled out a camera, selfie mode, and she was like, can we take a picture? And she just took the picture, and I never saw her again. And, that was a very perplexing moment in my life because, I came from India. It's not like I've been surrounded by Chinese people or people of other ethnicities. And then for that to happen on like day 2 was like, oh, okay, that was...
And you never saw her again?
Wait, what
Definitely
ethnicity
don't
was
recall.
she? Chinese. She's Chinese.
She's Chinese. Wow. No further comments.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That was interesting.
Yeah, goddamn.
Yeah.
He was already a celebrity from day one.
I wouldn't... apparently exotic, but sure.
Oh.
What is a tip that you would give anyone going to their first Tova event?
I think if it's your first Tova event, people will assume, oh, I want to come in slightly late so that there's already a crowd and I don't want to be awkward by myself. We actually think that's not correct. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
You should come early or come on time.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know anybody and you walk in later, it's going to be really hard for you to actually talk to someone new. Because everyone's kind of already in their little pockets, little groups, right?
And like deep into their conversation.
Yeah, they're in conversation, so now you're going to have to try and butt in somehow.
Yeah.
Or like, it becomes a little more, it becomes a little harder,
100%.
right? Especially if you don't know anybody.
Yeah.
But so the best way to do it is come early. As people start coming in, it's 10 times easier to talk to somebody because they don't know anybody, you don't know anybody, you can strike the conversation and you're good to go. And so if one tip, if I had to give anyone, is just be on time. It'll save you a lot of shyness and awkwardness or whatever you have. So that's what I would say. Yeah.
I personally think if you're slightly more introverted, you ought to be on time or early.
For sure. Yeah, especially if you're introverted. If you're extroverted, maybe you'd be okay just talking to a bunch of strangers. But if you are introverted, then you probably want to just
Have someone adopt you in the beginning.
But that's hard to do if you don't know anybody. And so you don't have too many options except try and come on time. And then as people walk in, right? Unless
Yeah,
you know
no, exactly.
Have someone adopt you.
Because like
if
there's like few people, and then you naturally have to be talking to those people who are coming in.
Yeah. But then you're the one who's adopting them.
But okay, yeah,
which is fine, which is better.
About like how you said like okay, coming on time. What do people usually ask you before coming to their first event? Like I remember when I came from my first event, I didn't necessarily have questions, but I was like, how does this work? Like, are you gonna take me to my buddy? Are you gonna, because like obviously coming as someone who was so new, I wasn't scared, but I was a little shy because I was like, ooh. So what do people usually ask you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the nervousness is pretty fair. I think everyone kind of has that especially if you don't know somebody. So before coming, we've gotten texts about like, oh,
when do I know about when my Tova buddy will be revealed?
Yeah, when is that going to happen? And so for context, that's usually in the 3-day window leading up to the event. So that's when you'll get your Tova buddy. And now with the new app and everything, you can directly message your Tova buddy on the app, and we highly recommend you doing that. So you actually are not coming to the event alone. And you don't have to come to the event alone. Then you have a friend already, 2, right? So we definitely recommend just texting in advance to take care of that problem. Before an event, what else?
Can I raise, if you don't yet know anyone in the Tova community, like if you weren't referred, I think you should 100% come to our mingle first. I think that's the easiest way to break into Tova, and then find people already, and then go
to events with them.
Exactly.
And we've been seeing that, like you meet at the mingle, and then the mingle group will go attend the bigger event together.
And I feel like after the mingle, a lot of people go for dinners together. So you kind of.
I think it's perfect. I think mingle is the perfect on-ramp that we found so far for Tova. So if you're new, don't know anybody, definitely come for that. You'll find someone.
Okay, so another question that I have is kind of following that a whole like stretch of being welcoming, having people in the community that like are willing to kind of bring people into their groups during events and stuff like that. Something that Tova has, and I don't think a lot of people that are outside of our community know, is the fact that we have curators. What are curators?
Curators are select members who host while participate at the events.
So I mean that's a definition.
But why?
No. So I think it's just members who want to be sometimes more involved. They can make the event a little bit of their own.
Exactly.
They can add their own touch to it. And then you get a little cheeky discount if you're a curator, so it doesn't hurt. Especially if you've been to a couple of events. Then I mean, being a curator is super simple because all the heavy work's already been done for you. All you kind of have to do is just you'll know in advance who's coming. So say hello to everybody, bring them in. Just
make sure people have a good time, as well as you yourself have a good time.
So I think it's very simple for you to just be slightly more involved, take up a little more, and give back to Tova a little more if you'd like, if you could say that.
But like, how did you come about even thinking about the idea of having curators? What does it do?
Like, we know a lot of people love hosting. And we have innate leaders, and so I think it's very natural. Like, why not?
For sure. And then a lot of people will have their own ideas for events.
Yes.
You get to carry it out.
Has there been any event that someone has had an idea of and you guys have helped execute?
Not yet, I think.
What do you mean?
Like a full idea from someone else.
Like, has someone given you an idea and you're like, we'll help you curate? Other than I know Tribes works like that, because people are like, oh, I wanna have a golf tribe, I wanna have a tennis tribe. But like, has anyone said, I wanna do this?
A full event, maybe not yet. Actually, I could be wrong.
Not yet. Maybe in the coming month, actually.
Like, I think wine, for example, was very actively requested, and then those people kind of also ended up doing the curation for it. But besides that, nothing specific that I can think of.
No, but I think a lot of members help out with the end result, the end event, from location, what the event is, and then who should be a curator or themselves be a curator. So
Okay.
yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Like wine was an amalgamation of like
Really?
there are multiple people.
I'm sure there are recommendations from
Yeah.
I have one final question for you guys. I think this is like an important integral part of Tova and kind of how we run around over here. Rules, expectations, guidelines. What do you expect? Not necessarily what do you expect from a member, because like I feel like that's pretty like, you know, there are some staples, but like in terms of, you know, referrals or kind of what your values are, what would you say is the core of Tova?
I mean, we could start with the safety thing, right? Like that's pretty straightforward. We have a video out on this, but the rules are pretty clear. If anyone feels uncomfortable by anyone else, please report it on the app. We will take action within 24 hours. If, you know, the claim is correct, then the person in question would be removed from the community, along with, if that person was referred, that person, the referrer will also be removed from the community. So pretty straightforward, pretty blanket, applies across the board, no exceptions. So safety wise, we did this because we wanted to put some guardrails in place, right, as Tova gets bigger. And that's why referrals are so important for as we grow, because it's a vouch of trust, right? And then it's a vote of trust for someone else, and that's something which is great for us, for the community in general. So I think that's kind of like the only guideline that we have in place, I think. Everything else is just, I mean, be authentic.
Be welcoming.
Open-minded, you know, talk to people. Everyone's there to meet other people.
Exactly.
So, you know, just feel free to talk to anybody. And
I think authenticity is a really important one.
Yeah.
Authenticity, sincerity.
Yeah, the general stuff, I think. I think it's just the function of getting value from a community is, obviously, you want to really get value, you want to be a giver, right? So be kind, be nice, offer help if ever needed, right? And you'll probably get that back, and you'll probably get a lot from the community. So I think guidelines probably just one, but everything else is just the values that people should have.
And I think we have been seeing that kind of with the community, how everyone's been welcoming, how everyone kind of, like even with referrals, like what I've noticed is people are very careful with who they end up putting into the community, because the last thing they want is to be kicked out of Tova. And myself included, I've referred a couple people, and I feel like I've been very careful and selective with who I've referred.
And I think what else is really nice to see, like in our community, members really embody our values, is when they help each other out. Like I've seen multiple instances, and I'm sure there's like many more happening outside of what I can see directly or have been told, is like, if, say for example, this has happened, members are trying to do their CFA exam, like other people who have gotten it have offered advice, and it's like in our founders tribe, right? Like everyone is out here trying to support one another. We're trying to become billionaires together. So, you know, we're offering advice constantly, and I think that's an amazing part of being in a community, but especially being in this community.
Very tight-knit and wholesome community.
Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. So we're gonna end it on a good note, and I think what we will do is we will see you in episode 5 of Tova Talks. Thank you for listening to us today. Next time we will have something different, to something that actually I don't think they know about yet, but we will see you next time. So bye.
Like, share, subscribe. See you guys.